In this video, we are going to look at angle measures for straight lines and angle measures when we bisect these lines. So let's start with a straight line. Take a look at our line here, AB. It's a straight line. And I ask, what's the angle measurement of angle AB? So there's a couple ways that you can find this. The easiest way would be to use a protractor. So if I took the center of my protractor and lined it up with my line AB, I can see that on both ends, it reads 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So the measure of this angle right here, angle AB, is 180 degrees. And that's true for all straight lines. Anytime you have a straight line, it is going to measure 180 degrees. Now imagine, let's take the same line, AB, and this time I want to bisect it. And what I mean is I'm going to draw a line that would cut through line AB right at the center. So I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to call this line, simply CD. Notice how line CD cuts directly in the middle of line AB. Now the intersection point here we would call point E. And so now I'm curious as to say, okay, I know that a straight line has a angle measure of 180 degrees. What about if I took my 180 degrees and I introduced a line? These angles here are not going to be 180 degrees. How do I figure that out? So to figure out the angle measures first, we want to make sure that we are naming our angles correctly. So we'll do angle AEC. So we're going to do this angle first. We'll do angle AEC. And we want to know what's the measure of that angle. So from experience, we could probably say that this is a right angle. We could also use a protractor, line it up at the center. And you can see that based on where my line would extend, it would extend up to 90 degrees. So this angle is actually a 90-degree angle. Now, what if I wanted to find the angle measure for C, E, and B? Angle C, E, and B. Well, there's two ways we could do this. One, we could use our protractor. We know that from experience, it's probably a right angle. Since it's a straight line up and down, our protractor would then tell us that this would be a 90-degree angle. See how the 90 degrees matches up with this line? So we know that it's a 90-degree angle based on our protractor. Another way to figure this out would be that, okay, I know that I've taken my line segment AB, which is 180 degrees, and I've cut it in half. So there are two angles, angle AEC, and when we add that with angle CEB, we know that should equal 180 degrees. Think about it. These two angles, when they add them together, should be the same as a straight line, 180 degrees. So my two angles, when added together, should equal 180 degrees. So if I knew that one of them was 90, for example, 90 degrees, and I was trying to figure out what's my missing angle, I could just subtract 90 on both sides, and I could see that my missing angle, which is CEB, is 90 degrees. Let's look at one more example. And this time, we're going to take our line AB, and we are going to bisect it again, but this time we're going to do it at a different angle. So I take my ruler here, and let's say that I do line HI, and it intersects at point J. So I've got my line, it's been bisected, and it intersects at point J. So this time I ask you what are my angle measures for AJH and my angle measure for HJ and B? And so to be clear, again, with naming, angle AJH is this angle right here. This is angle AJH in blue. And angle HJB is going to be right here, HJB. So to figure out those two angles, remember, there's a couple ways we could do this. First, we'll use a protractor. And I'll say that I want to find the purple angle first, HJB. And I estimate that that angle is about 120 degrees. So I use my protractor. If I connected my line here outward, it would line up at 120 degrees. So HJB, I say, is 120 degrees. So remember, there's two ways that we could find this blue angle, AJH. We can use our protractor, and we can measure it, or we can use our knowledge of straight lines. So I say that we're trying to figure out our blue angle, AJH. We know HJB is 120 degrees. And when we add these two angles together, it should equal 180 degrees. So if I were to subtract 120 degrees on both sides, I could solve that AJH is in fact 60 degrees. So our blue angle, AJH, should equal 60 degrees. Let's check that with our protractor. So here, if I were to extend my line like I did, it matches up with that 120 again, but notice on the outside here is my 60 degrees. So this is my obtuse angle, or my acute angle. So if I went this way, it would match up right here at 60 degrees. So it worked out perfectly. So notice here again, overall, straight lines have an angle measure of 180 degrees. If I bisect them, I can use a protractor to measure to find the angles of one, and then I could use my knowledge of addition and 180 degrees to solve for the missing angles.